Ladies and gentlemen, all of my beautiful people, yes, I am talking about you. There is a lot of upcoming events for Lucid Motors, some that are very bullish, some that are negative that we have to talk about here in this video. We have Apple rumors to go over, the very real possibility of seeing a short squeeze, and exactly how I plan to play this potential short squeeze, as well as we do have a share lockup that is for next week. We also have plans of an expansion into Europe that we must talk about here in this video. But full disclaimer, I do have a lot of Lucid Motors. It's the largest position in my portfolio, so must put that out there. I am fully invested in Lucid Motors. So after all, here on this channel, I do not like to waste any time, not your time, not my time, so we're gonna jump straight into it. If you guys find value out of this video, hit that like button for me. Make sure to comment down below what is your 2025 price prediction for Lucid Motors, but consider subscribing to the channel as well. So let's dive straight into it. And what do you guys want first? Do you want the good news, or do you want the bad news? Let's just start off with the bad news first. I know, stupid question. The bad news is that we do have a major share lockup that is expiring January 19th. That does fall on Wednesday, so that is going to be really the one and only negative catalyst Lucid has here on out for the near-term future. And the biggest concern is that all the initial investors, the PIPE investors, are able to start selling their shares, and a lot of them do have a lot of gains. But most importantly, Lucid investors are paying attention to the Saudi fund that owns 67.2% of Lucid Motors to see if they sell out. It's not expected that they will sell a large portion, but it is expected they will sell something. Something is a very wide range. We really don't have any expectations, but they do own 67% of the company. So even if they sold 5%, that's a very large amount. I really don't think they will sell anything, because if you're betting on EVs, if you're Saudi Arabia that has made all of this oil money, you have to win big in EVs as well. And they want to do whatever they can to make their country great. Right? They dominated oil. Now they want to dominate EV. And if you're not in Tesla, as obviously the main backer of the company, you want to be in Lucid because they have the best chance at rivaling Tesla. So I don't think they're actually going to sell any stock, but keep in mind the last share lockup that we did have for some of the early PIPE investors was back here September 1st, and the price of the stock did drop to a low of $16.12 when it was trading at about $20 just the day before. That was a drop of about 20%, but we did only close the day down 10.87%, and over the following couple of days, shareholders that held on were rewarded very nicely, as the stock did recover literally the next 3 days all the way up to that level that we were at before that PIPE lockup. So keep that in mind. It is a negative catalyst, but I don't expect it to be a long-lasting catalyst. As history has showed us, the last lockup wasn't really a big catalyst. So there's obviously a lot of optimism for Lucid Motors going ahead into the future and for a longer term investment. Now, as far as some of the other more bullish catalysts, now we got the bad news out the way, let's get into the good news. And Lucid Motors did announce that they plan to launch in Europe this year. They actually did this by responding to a Twitter user that asked them about the European expansion. They did say, in quotes, "Expansion to Europe markets will begin this year. Stay tuned for country-specific delivery information." So that's key. We have pretty much known this already, that they were going to do this, but it looks like they are doing this at a much faster pace. Another noteworthy point to point out is that Lucid told investors last month that they plan to produce 20,000 Lucid Air sedans in 2022, generating more than $2.2 billion in revenue. So that is exactly what we have expected. But the fact that they are actually staying true to their statements is a bullish thing. The last thing you want is a company that's saying one thing, coming out 3 or 6 months later and saying the opposite, saying they don't expect those numbers still. So that's good. We've heard this for a while, but just another notable point to point out. As far as some other recent developments, we have Lucid Motors that says they plan to build an EV factory in Saudi, says the chairman of Lucid. This is something we know as well, and this is coming back up, this article is from January 12th, 2022. They said they plan to build this factory by 2025 or 2026. So another positive note, as well as that we do have rumors of Lucid partnering with Apple. This did start by a news outlet called torquenews.com. They said, in quotes, Lucid could potentially build a car for Apple, but both companies declined to comment on the rumor. But if Lucid does win the job, its stock would skyrocket. And that's obviously true. Apple has so much money, they have to keep reinvesting to stay relevant and to keep the #1 spot in the economy. I mean, they're a $3 trillion company. So it makes a lot of sense to partner with a electric car company that already has some manufacturing capability to bring some money in and maybe add to that facility, or to build a joint facility with them, as well as to partner with a car company that does have self-driving aspects. Lucid has their own system that they do plan to build out and give these updates, so eventually they are like another version of Tesla. So I think it makes sense to partner with Lucid if you're Apple, but I wouldn't bag on that, and I am certainly not bagging on that actually happening. If you are a Lucid investor, Lucid will be fine with or without Apple. Apple will regret not partnering with them. But I think the fact that both companies declined to comment is obviously a bullish thing, because you would quickly throw that rumor under the bus, per se, if you knew it wasn't going to happen. If you knew it was false, Apple would quickly say, yeah, that's not true. But they didn't say that. So I think that's a bullish thing, and I think that is helping to drive a lot of these rumors that are currently happening between Apple and a Lucid partnership. Besides that, let's switch gears. Let's talk about the short squeeze aspect of this trade, as well as institutional investors of Lucid Motors. The institutional investors currently sit at 69.06%, and we can see that they have been loading up on their positions. Take a look at all this dark green. These are brand new positions. 3.5 million shares that was bought right here by Magnetar Financial LLC. You can see tons of green, like brand new positions that have been open, but as well as that, almost every single firm is actually adding to their positions, and very few firms are actually selling out or decreasing their actual positions. And if they are, they're like one of, Bedell Financial Consulting Inc. They have 164 shares and they decreased their position by 65%. Very, very small amounts. So in that aspect, it's looking very good, and that's a key thing that I like to look at, is institutional ownership, as well as what the insiders are doing with their shares. Are they selling? Are they buying? What are they doing? And if we take a look at the analyst ratings for Lucid, 40% say it's a strong buy, 60% say it's a hold, but we only have 5 analysts that are actually covering the stock, with a high price target of $60 per share, a average or middle price target of $42.75 per share, and a low price target of $16 per share. So really, on the long-term sense, it's a steal to buy Lucid right now. I think we all do know that. Now, let's switch gears again. Let's get into the short squeeze aspect of this trade, because we're looking at 16.32% short interest of free float, 92.98 million shares that are sold short. But what really makes Lucid prone to a short squeeze? It's not the short interest, which, yes, it is to a certain extent, but just because a stock has a high short interest does not mean shorts will be actually forced to cover and you'll see a short squeeze. It actually comes down to the cost to borrow and the share utilization. So the cost to borrow minimum is at 16.34%. Cost to borrow average 66.71%. Cost to borrow max at 160.58%. What is the cost to borrow? When you take on short positions, if you are a short seller, you have to pay interest as long as you hold on to those borrowed shares. So if you have to pay 160% for your short position, you need that stock to move very fast and very aggressively. If it does not, you start to take massive losses by just keeping a short position open, regardless if the stock goes up or down. Just holding that position, you start to take big losses. So when the cost to borrow is high, to put this really into English, It means that short sellers do not hold on to positions for very long, and they are quick to cover on them at the slightest sign of bullish activity. On top of that, the share utilization is a measurement of the shares that are available to be sold short and the shares that have already been sold short. So let me also put that into English. If the share utilization is at 100%, that means that 100% of all available shares to be sold short have already been sold short. So that is very bullish. Mix those two together and you're looking at the short sellers in a really bad situation. If we also take a look at the average days out on loan, you can see this has been going up quite dramatically as well, now sitting at 33.26 days on average out on loan. So that would put us back here before this first rally at about $25 to $26 per share. So obviously short sellers are already underwater on their positions, and if we don't see the share lockup actually bring a negative catalyst to Lucid, that's going to be this Wednesday, January 19th, then I do expect Lucid to go through a bit of a short squeeze. As far as the technicals are concerned, we are approaching this major level at the 50-day moving average. We have shown a lot of resistance in the past around this, and we actually did get rejected off of this on Friday. And you guys can see just how dramatic this actually is. Once right here, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and now the 6th time as far as Friday, we got rejected off of this 50-day moving average. So if we break out above this, if the share lockup is not bad, the price of Lucid does not tank, then we will see a big move to the upside and likely retest that $50 range. That's really what I'm targeting. If we can get back up to the 55, 56, then that looks really good, and we should bottom out at in between 50 and 55 per share. That's really as far out of the money I would go if you are trading options on this. If we do go into a full-blown short squeeze, then we could blow past $55 per share. We could go to $70 per share if a short squeeze is involved. But then again, most of us are long-term investors in Lucid Motors. We have found the next Tesla, and this is our little Tesla baby, and that's exactly how I treat Lucid Motors. I am not selling a single share, and that's exactly what I have done, is buy and hold Lucid Motors. So my market value is $12,660 in total, up on Friday 1.91%. Obviously that's what the stock price was up. In total, up $6,223.38 per share, up almost 97%. My average cost is $21.46. I do have 300 shares, and my portfolio diversity, get a kick out of this one. This just shows you guys how bullish I am. 32.5%. That's crazy. Obviously, it wasn't this high until I did get this gain, but it was still like 17% of my portfolio. Nevertheless, very, very bullish on Lucid Motors. I also do have Lucid $50 calls that I did sell for May 20th. So that's why you guys want to subscribe to this channel, so you guys can stay up to date with all of the moves that I've been making that have been very profitable. On these covered calls, these $50 May 20th cover calls that I did sell, I sold 3 of them because I have 300 shares. I did collect $1,620 per contract, which does come to a total of $4,860. I'm up about 67% currently, up $3,240 on this trade. So that was definitely a good trade, and I pray to the almighty heavenly Father that Lucid stays under $50 because I do not want to sell my shares, but I did want to take some profits via options. Now, as far as playing the share lockup is concerned, I actually, you guys might hate me for this, I do actually have 4 puts on Lucid Motors for February 18th. I'm up $4 or 3% on these. My average cost of $35. I did buy the $20 puts, and I don't expect the stock to go down to $20 per share, obviously. But if the stock does make a move down to, say, $35 per share, given the extra time that I do have on these options, which don't expire till February 18th, then they should go up decently in value, and I should get a good flip out of this. I am not shorting the stock. I am not preventing the stock from doing whatever it is going to naturally do. I am only being a trader, just like I am. That's my passion, investing and trading. So I'm going to hedge out my largest position of my portfolio, which is about 33%, with a couple puts if I have to. All in all, I only spent about what I spent, $140 by doing this, so not even 2% of my actual long position of Lucid Motors. So that is going to be all for this video. If you guys want to stay up to date with all of the moves that I am making, as well as all of the stocks that I am buying, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on your way out, as well as leave your thoughts down below on your price target for 2025 with obviously Lucid Motors. Love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.